Good evening. Ben streaming low key here, and it's always a pleasure to have you on this podcast. We've had some awesome momentum with the streak of daily live streams, and without further ado, let's continue with part three of our topic, fixing broken aspects of yourself. The focus is going to be seeking guidance. Now, I really feel we're quite fortunate in the year we live in of 2022 that information has proliferated. Sure, there's a lot of noise among the lot cornucopia of information we can get on the internet, specifically YouTube, or for those of us who like to read, there are plenty of blogs as well. But if you are feeling any type of uneasiness or feeling any lacking in your life, or if you're feeling scarred, if you just have a sense of anxiety, especially, or massive social deficits, and you feel in your childhood you weren't quite socialized correctly, and you were wronged in the past, and you have massive grudges that you can't let go of, now is a brilliant time to seek guidance on that and realize life can be rich and life can be wonderful. Life doesn't have to be a constant gauntlet or you being obsessed with revenge of I've got to get them back, I've got to let them know that I'm this, I'm that. And seeking the correct guidance, if I had to refine it even more, you don't have to walk around with a chip on your shoulder. This um, Some years ago, there was a very popular song by Mike Jones. It goes, back then they didn't want me, but now I'm hot, they're all on me. And deep down, I feel there's so much more to life than just getting back at people for what happened to you in your childhood. Sure, it can be a good source of fuel to fuel future success, but resentment and bitterness isn't what we were put on this world for. And if you've ever come across the term ikigai, it's a Japanese word about a philosophy of finding your talents, finding your skills, and finding truly what you want to be, what you almost feel you were made to do. And then finding joy and happiness in that, within that simplicity and small rewards. For example, if you just love the smell of a fresh cup of coffee, or you just love to walk outside on a sunny day, a lot of the people you want to get back at in your childhood will have no idea that right now you are at peace. You have a sense of inner tranquility. You don't have a sense of you finally getting your self esteem back up because it got so hurt by things people said to you, things people did to you. When you can finally put those things past you and just move forward, it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Oh, hello, viewer. Thanks for watching my stream. Please comment down below if you are enjoying this content or anything you'd like to discuss. How have you looked for guidance in figuring out different things of yourself or setting good life habits and really, you know, learning something that normally takes 10 years and only a year? Getting the best information is one of the best ways to get yourself out of a rut. And just understanding, the animal that we are, understanding what you are and what you're going through, you can get so many other people's experience who've been through similar situations and how they resolved it. And when seeking guidance, don't only seek one source of good information. There are multiple people with even multiple perspectives. So even if you don't agree 100% with somebody's particular views, take what's useful and compare it to the rest and eventually find your own way. And it's really, you don't have to suffer in life like this. And for the longest time I was caught up in certain loops like that where I couldn't get out of it. And You have really bad anxiety and you just treat the symptom. You'd be like, all right, so I'll dance it away. I'll go work out as hard as I can to get over it. And it keeps coming back in different forms. You like plug one hole of the barrel and it comes out the other side. And it's half the battle is knowing, as they say. Have you ever heard a phrase like that? Half the battle is knowing. Sometimes when you just have this unknown feeling of anxiety, and for the longest time I didn't even know what anxiety was. I was just like, oh man, sometimes I just feel jittery, or I just feel um, just an uneasiness over different things that happened in the past. And the thing about a lot of these issues is it stacks up, and it's always the real cause is hiding underneath, and then other things just stack up, stack up, stack up, stack up on top of it. And the mind, or just the human body, when it's lacking in one thing, it now overcompensates in other things to try make you feel whole or try make you balance. And if you just address that massive social deficit underneath, it can take a lot of weight off of your shoulders. And I almost wonder how I can illustrate this story um, even more. And in my particular case, my particular childhood, I didn't get a lot of examples for a certain skill or two that I really wanted to learn. For example, working out. Working out for me was something I sort of pieced together in myself. And being self taught, even though some people may brag about it, it honestly is not the most efficient way of getting some of these things done. Whereas, back then, my budget literally needed me to figure things out on my own. And you make a lot of mistakes you don't have to make. You'll get different injuries that you don't necessarily have to get. Whereas eventually, when I found certain YouTube channels like Greg Doucette's channel, or Austin Dunham's channel, or just there's a multitude. I can barely name them all. Kai Green's channel, and being able to have that incredible expert advice and certain things that used to take entire careers, lifetimes to learn, you can get that in like 10 minutes. And in my life, sometimes for the entire year, you'd have just one conversation that would change every everything you thought about a certain art or discipline, completely change the way you do something. And it'll all like the most important moment of the year would occur, and you'd be like, hey, why don't you try do this instead? Or someone will explain the reason why it's not working is you're doing this, and then boom, everything clicks. And back in the day, you'd have to wait for a chance, for just a moment, to see an expert for that, or you'd have to wait hours to maybe go to a workshop to eventually, at the end of the presentation, all right, does anyone have any questions? And you'd raise it and say, hey, please, can you explain this to me? Whereas now you can actually go on YouTube and get in-depth analysis. And I don't just like explanations, I like over explanations about what I'm going through, because I like to have extremely effective solutions to figuring things out. And it's even what got me into Coach Corey Hoyne's work, 3% Man. And if you've ever been dealing with just troublesome relationships, and you're having trouble just raising your life standards, that is one of my highly recommended must reads. And wow, I think it's quite a topic I could go on and on about for quite a while, but let's save some for tomorrow. I'm going to give this topic part four as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. So it was a pleasure having you on my live stream, and this is Mr. Loki signing out for now. See you soon.